I'm good. How are you?
I'm not too bad. Thanks for coming on with me.
Yeah, no bother. Thanks for waiting for me. Sorry, I had other activities to attend to. So yeah,
You're grand. You're grand. Yeah. How was your day?
my day very productive. Had a day's work done by 1 o'clock. Was exhausted then, but then was nice and gentle with my activities after that. So yeah, all good. The sun is out, so we can't complain.
I know you
What
said
about
it
yourself?
exactly. Grand, same as yourself. Correcting exams all this morning, and then went down the green with Tommy, Sarah, and Eve, and we played hurling while the girls were chatting in the sun. And yeah, it was lovely. Like
Yeah,
come back
yeah,
up, then a bit of dinner, and now I'm here chatting away to you.
easy peasy.
I'm telling you. So what I'll do is, for the purpose of anyone that is not watching this video on YouTube and is listening to the podcast, I should let them know that I am
Yeah,
speaking with Katie Duggan. um, now,
hi.
Katie, you might tell us just a little bit about what you do and
Okay.
a little bit about maybe your background and how you got started in yoga.
Okay, so I do a variety of things. I suppose I'm most known for yoga and meditation. So I would suppose go under the spectrum of a wellness practitioner because I'm very much into holistics, helping people get stronger physically, mentally, emotionally through a combination of yoga and meditation. I'm a Reiki master, so I work a lot with energies, and I am a beauty therapist and a massage therapist as well. So all kind of under the holistic umbrella of things.
A lot of
So
strings on the bow.
a lot of strings on the bow, yeah, yeah. You have to these days. Um, but yeah, that's what I do.
Very, very good. What I do like is, I think it was on your Facebook page, and I really liked it because it said that you're in a love triangle with reality, wellness, and spirituality.
Yeah, it's a constant battle on a daily basis.
Which one is winning at the moment? Is reality winning you over, or
I wouldn't say this is reality. I'd say no, a good bit of balance now at the moment because I have the time to integrate all of them together because there's no external influences. I think when you're in the day-to-day living, that's the hardest to juggle. At the moment, like I said the other day in one of my posts, I'm really, really enjoying this time because I have time to play with all these things and to really enjoy all the different aspects of what I love.
very good. I think that's a nice thing that you said there about the fact that, like, this isn't reality the most. It's like an alternate universe, isn't it? It's so
Yeah,
far removed from what we're used to. And I think people are
absolutely.
on
Yeah.
either side of the fence. They're either loving it or they're going off their head.
Yeah, yeah. And it'll go like that for me. I'll be loving it all day, and then I'll hit something. I'll be like, "Oh my God, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this?" And then I'll get back off that, and I'll start loving it again. But it's a personal choice, I think, as well. If you either love it or hate it, because it's up to you at the end of the day how you want to look at all of this.
No, I think that's a really nice way of looking at it. It depends on your mindset towards it. Like, you can either see this as the biggest inconvenience and a massive pain in the hole, or you can
Yeah,
look, or you can look. I don't edit these podcasts, Katie. We can speak freely.
yeah. We can say what we want from the
Yeah,
heart.
and like that, you have other people then that are using it as an opportunity to read more or to focus more on exercise or baking. I think everyone is making
Yeah,
porridge. Everyone is making porridge bread. Like, everyone's a master
and
baker at this
banana
stage.
bread.
And banana bread,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly. Like, everyone, I think a lot of you are trying to see, right, what's the silver lining here? It's like,
Yeah.
I miss my job and I miss my family, but I've read
Mm,
3 books. I'm exercising every day. I'm walking the whole time,
yeah,
and I'm sleeping great.
yeah. I'm the same. I'm literally going to the bed, looking at the pillow, and it's the next morning.
Gone.
Gone. I think because I'm just not stressed.
And what does a day look like for you at the moment? Do you have a set
Uh,
structure?
yeah, I do because I have to have routine. If I don't have routine, I get very frazzled. And I like order. I like checklists. I like having a purpose and get things done. Otherwise, I'm just, yeah. it's not good. But if I choose to have a lazy day, I'll schedule that in as a lazy day. But I wake up, I'll go down, I make my lemon water, come back to bed, read my book, and that's gone. I'll go down, make my coffee, come back, drink that, read my book, and then I'll do my normal exercise and stuff like that. Then I'll do my walks and lunch and dinner and things like that. But at the moment, I'm running a 21-day course online on Facebook, so that takes up, that's my work now, and online yoga classes. So yeah, my days are pretty busy. Like, I don't have any free time as such, which is good, because I like not to be busy, but I like to be doing things that are productive.
I liked what you said about if you're having a lazy day, if you structure it, it's not as if you've wasted a day. It's like, no, that was the plan.
Yeah,
That was the plan. That's
yeah,
what I wanted to do.
yeah, yeah. Sundays are for literally doing nothing if there's nothing to do.
Fact. I think one of the things that I struggled with at the start of this was if I got up in the morning and I put back on like my pajama bottoms and just a t-shirt, and I came downstairs in my slippers, I would do fuck all,
Yeah,
because I associate my PJs with doing fuck all. I would lounge
lazy
around
day.
and do
Yeah,
nothing, even to
yeah,
the stage where I'd nearly have my dinner and leave all the dishes, just do them in the morning. But then the next day when I want to be productive, there's a
yeah.
mess in the kitchen, the washing's not done, I feel
It
I
sets you
feel
off.
bleh, and it's
Yeah,
just like
yeah,
a chain reaction of laziness. I suppose,
yeah.
for want of a
It
better
does
way to
feed
put it.
out, though. It does feed out. I notice, say, if I say Sunday is lazy day, I find it very hard to get into the Monday.
Just to click
Because
again, like,
yeah, because you have that energy of, oh yeah, yesterday was great, but you have to have a cut-off point, don't you?
yeah,
Like, you're like,
definitely.
right, yesterday was the lazy day, now today is blah 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 blah. So
That's it.
no, I'm enjoying this virtual reality that we have, because it's all like this kind of thing, connection through Zoom or Facebook, but it's different. It's not like scrolling through social media. You're actually connecting with people, because you're
Yes.
checking if they're all right and catching up, because this is the only means of communication now. So yeah.
Fact. And how are you coping? I suppose you just said it there, like with things like seeing family and friends. Is it all just Zoom and WhatsApps and
Yeah, and like that's probably the most upsetting part of it for me, when I'm like, why am I in such bad form? It's because I miss that connection. Like, we're a very close family, and
yeah,
we'd see each other every day, and the fact that you can't leave the house only to go for the shopping and come back, you do feel that isolation big time. But when you're doing things and you have a structure, it might only hit you 2 or 3 times a day, or when you speak to someone on the phone. But then you're like, look, it's only temporary,
yeah.
and it's for our own good, and it's for a reason, and everybody's safe and everybody's grand. So yeah, you get little waves and pangs of, oh, but sure, look, it is what it is, and you have to just accept it.
Yeah, I think you have to have that resilient streak in you, don't you? That
Mm,
you have to, I suppose, it's the Irish way. You just get on with it. You know,
yeah,
it sounds
yeah,
harsh when you say it like that, but I think you just kind of have to almost accept that this is the reality that we have, and you can either mope
yeah.
around in your pajamas eating Easter eggs all day, or you can,
Yeah.
or you can hatch a plan and get on with it.
Yeah, yeah. And that took me, I think I was about 2 weeks of kind of woe is me, and where's this all going, and what am I going to do? And then I was like, okay, at the end of this week now, this is the cut-off point. I'm going to pick myself up off the pity pot and make the most of this. And
The pity pot, I like
yeah.
that.
So I'm on the pity pot sometimes, but I get up fairly quickly. But yeah, and I kind of talked to myself like a small child. At that point, I was like, have your mope about, get all of your emotions out of this situation, and then just get on with it, because it's not going to change, but you have to change. So yeah, I kind of have to pull myself into line every now and again. But yeah, just grand.
That's it. It's no harm to be done every now and again, as well as to give yourself
Yeah,
a couple of slaps. Say, right, get the head down now, and let's do
yeah,
something
yeah, yeah,
productive.
yeah.
Come here, tell me. Like, I've known you from the spirit days for donkey's years, but
Mm.
how did you get into yoga? What kind of inspired you to start, I suppose, training as a yogi,
Um,
and then your business?
yeah, so I broke my neck in 2015. So I have a C4, 5, and 6 fusion. So obviously I wasn't allowed to go back to my normal training of weightlifting or spinning or anything that was very high impact. So I was dragged with a neck brace to a yoga class by my mother because I was like the devil incarnated. I was a demon, angry at the world, angry at my no, because you know the way exercise is a feel good factor, and I wasn't getting that. So she was like, "Come on, Katie, please come to this yoga class." And she's been telling me years, "You should do yoga." Now, when your mother tells you you should do something, you go in the opposite direction.
Yeah, no bother, man. Yeah,
You know. Yeah. So she brought me there anyway, and the Katie that walked in, devil reincarnated, and I was an angelic light walking out.
Okay.
Completely changed me. I was like, what broken neck, what neck brace? Nothing phased me after that class, and I literally fell in love.
Brilliant.
So I continued to go 2 to 3 times a week and didn't need any physio on my neck, and it really helped me emotionally as well, like with everything. So I was getting the physical, I was getting the emotional support and the energetic, and I just kept it up. Was doing it at least 2 to 3 times a week. If it wasn't online, it was an actual yoga class. So then hated my jobs that I was in, was going from one to the other, and I was like, right, I've had enough. So I said, sure, look, if anything else, I get a bit of traveling in, I'm going to India, I'll train to be a yoga teacher, and sure, if I become a teacher, I become a teacher. So it all kind of just went on a whim, and like, I don't like this anymore, so I'm going to go in this direction. So it wasn't like I want to be a yoga teacher. It's like I want to deepen my practice, and I want to travel, and I want to get out of this situation I'm in, and just see what happens. And it just kind of all went from there then, and one class led into another, and yeah, it just started to build at a really nice pace, at a really manageable, this is the next step, and this is the next step. And here I am, 3 years on.
Brilliant. So yeah, so like you said, so it wasn't like a conscious decision to say, right, I'm going to start this business. It was a case of you were looking to build up your own personal practice, get a deeper understanding of I suppose the yoga practice itself, and then obviously if a business came out of it, so be it. But that wasn't your plan going in.
No. And the other side of it was that it helped me so much, as in it helped me in all aspects of my life, like my personal life, my fitness, my whole perspective changed because of this yoga practice. Hello. And he's making his debut.
If anyone's listening to the audio, my son Tommy has gone in behind me to get his scooter, because we have a really long kitchen and he just zooms up and down all day.
Oh, nice.
Okay, I've seen it well. Okay, sorry.
You're not getting so big.
Working from home.
This is real life.
I'm telling you, unscripted, unedited podcasts. Go on, I've seen it well. Bye, buddy. Sorry, dude. Sorry, you were saying.
Oh God. Yeah, so I just wanted to, like, if I said this worked for me, and how could I show people or help people in the same way? And that's really, I just wanted to help people, whether it was yoga or massage or beauty or whatever it was. I wanted to help them, but in a really practical way. So like when I went to India to learn yoga, it was very deep, as in like there was a different language, as in the Sanskrit, the ancient yogic scripts, and there was a lot of stuff that I couldn't see implementing into my life, but I knew a section of it could. So I wanted to kind of teach it in a very practical way, and I suppose that's why I ended up in the gyms, because there's no amming, there's no burning incense, there's no candles. It's very much the physical practice, but you get all of the other benefits with it. So for people that are skeptical, which I was as well, it's a really great introduction into it. And that's what I wanted to make it very simple, very practical, very layman's terms, I suppose.
Very, very good. Do you find that there is that perception that yoga involves, sitting cross-legged with the hands up like this, almost with that humming or chanting and this kind of stuff? The incense is burning. Is it hard for you to Like, do people ever come to you thinking that that's what it's going to be, or do you find people might not do it because that's what they think it will be and that's not what they want?
I'm lucky in the sense that anyone that approaches me is a first-time yogi, novice, never done it before, got recommendation, and the doctor told them to go, the physio told them to go, someone recommended this class. So I'm lucky in the sense that they're not like, this is not airy-fairy now, or this is not all spiritual stuff. I could count on one hand, I'd say, the amount of people that have contacted me and asked that. So I suppose it's the energy that I give out and the advertising that I do probably portrays that, so they don't even have to ask that question. Like from the very beginning, I said to my marketing fellow who did my logo, I said, I don't want anything yoga related in my logo.
Yeah, which is probably strange. He probably went, why?
Yeah, because I didn't want it to be the same as everything else. But in it does say yoga with Katie, but you really have to look at, oh, that's a yoga person or whatever. So I just wanted to kind of make it be more of a modern kind of practical approach to it rather than the ancient spiritual, because that's not really me. I'm like, give it to me quick, give it to me practical. How can I fit this into my life, rather than how can I take time out of my life to practice this?
Yes, and I think that's what you said as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, when you said you started your yoga training in India, was that you kind of felt like when you went in, you were almost cherry picking the parts that you could apply to your own life, as opposed to trying to implement everything. And like you said, including the stuff that you're not kind of saying, that's not for me, but I like this bit. I could get value in this. And I think if you see value in it and you enjoy it and you do it, it's very easy from a business perspective to sell that to somebody else. Yeah,
because it's what I do in my daily life, and I know that this works for me, and this amount of commitment is how much I do. And the people that come to my classes or come to me as clients, they have the same want and needs as well. So yeah, it works really, really well, because I think if you're passionate about it, you know yourself, like in your work, like every aspect of it, you're really passionate about it, you implement it into your own life, and it's always really simple and practical, but highly effective. And it comes from the heart, because you've been doing it for as long as I can remember, what, 14, 15, 16 years?
I'm not that old, steady on.
I'm trying to think, I'm 10 years qualified as a beauty therapist, so you're probably not far behind me.
I'm not, no, I think it was like 2007, so yeah, about 13 years this year. Like, so yeah, you weren't far off, I'll give you that.
it flies, Mark. I was just throwing it out there as a ballpark.
Yeah, that's it, but it's mad how quick it goes by. Can I ask then, you spoke about like you get recommendations from doctors, physios, and you might even get mouth-to-mouth referrals, but do you find, is there, what's the word I'm looking for? Is there a main reason why people would seek out yoga? Like, are people using it to rehab physical limitations or injuries, or is it more spiritual or stress related? What kind of balance do you find with your own clients?
The common denominator is everyone wants to feel better. That's all anybody wants. That's all anybody wants. So some people will come because of a mental aspect, like they're depressed or they're anxious, or they've had a really traumatic time and they need to get back into it. Some people come because they're stiff as board, they can't touch their toes. You know, I'm not flexible. I get that all the time. It's like, great, I love a challenge. Come on in. And
it's like me in the gym. It's like, don't get me lifting that now. I'm weak as a kitten. I wouldn't be strong at all.
Yeah. And look, they're right. And like, Irish people are just not flexible. We are just not a flexible nation, and I'm not, like, when I started yoga and teacher training, I'm strong, oh by God, am I stiff, you know, and it's just the way we are, like, as a nation.
Is that because we don't move enough? Do we not have enough variety?
It would go back kind of to our ancestors. and how we are as people. We're not very expressionative, so therefore we hold a lot in our bodies, and that turns into physical stiffness and strain and tightness because we hold. Whereas the Italians and the Spanish, they use their arms and they're very expressionate and they're very open, so they are naturally quite flexible. So yeah, it's just the way we are, you know.
I
We're
love
great
the way.
crack. We're great
Yeah,
crack.
we're not flexible, but we're great crack.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be
Yeah.
the title of this podcast. I speak to Katie Duggan about Irish people. We're not flexible, but we're great crack.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. But yeah, people come because they're in pain. People, yeah, they're in pain, or they come because someone told them to, like the doctor or the husband or the wife, or my wife sent me.
Yeah. I don't want to be here, but I'll give it a go. Like.
Yeah, and they become the most committed people, the ones that, oh, I've been sent here by so and so, and they will not miss a class.
I like that's brilliant. And I think that's another trait of the Irish, is that we're very, not pessimistic. What's the word I'm looking for? We tend to downplay things a lot. Like we very rarely, like I know people from America, and like they're very enthusiastic. Everything is awesome. Everything is amazing. Whereas US, oh, how'd you get on at yoga? No, yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good. It could have been amazing. They could have felt brilliant after it, like you said. But it was just like, yeah, no, it was grand. Yeah, I enjoyed it. You know, how was your training session? Oh, it was tough. It was grand. You know, we downplay things a lot. Like,
we
how
don't
are you?
tend to get too excited. Yeah, we're not very an excitable nation, unless we have a few points or beers in it.
So tell me then, you spoke about people holding on to energies, right? And this is something that I want to dig in with you, right?
Okay.
Like most people tend to hold on to too much stress, right? Even now. And I think kind of the overriding thing I wanted to talk to you about, I suppose, was stress and anxiety, especially with the situation that we're in, right? So I know if I'm stressed off my head, or I'm just anxious about something, or I'm nervous about something, that I'll hold a lot of tension up here. And most people do, like a lot of stress, just my neck is sore, you know, where you get back pain that's totally unexplained. You've done nothing out of the ordinary, but all of a sudden your back is sore, and you're trying to think, well, geez, you know, what would have caused that? Well, you know, no physical injury happens, so how are you emotionally? Are you eating well? Are you stressed? Are you anxious? Are you worried? You know, are you grieving a loss? Is there something else that's going on in your life? And I think the term for that in yoga terms is chakras.
Chakra,
yeah.
CH, yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about chakras and energy, and how certain types of energy might manifest itself physically. Because I know you practice Reiki as well, and I know that's very much to do with energies too.
Yeah. So, like, probably the best way to explain the chakras are, everybody's familiar with the colors of the rainbow. Okay, and there's 7 colors of the rainbow. So, a lot of people would probably be familiar with the chakras as in a person sitting in a cross-legged position, and you'd have purple, indigo, sky blue, green, yellow, orange and red, all going down in a line. So there are your 7 major chakras, and then there's 72,000 other energy lines in the body that would all be considered kind of chakras or wheels of energies. But we'll just focus on the 7 major ones.
Because we won't have time for the other 72,000.
No, we don't. But I'll just throw that out there, that because we are energy beings, and that's all essentially we're made up of, is just all of this high vibrational energy. So if your chakras they're all spinning, and of course they will get, in this human body, they will get clogged, or they'll be depleted, or they'll be overactive or underactive. So when a person you suggest is grieving, they will probably experience a tightness in their chest, and they'll go to the doctor, they'll have the scans, and they'll have the blood test, and they'll come back and be like, all clear. And the person's there looking at the doctor, but I have this pain. And the doctor's like, well, there's nothing there, so it's all in your head. Or they'll experience like an upper back between their shoulder blades, this knot or this pinching sensation or punching sensation. And again, they'll go to a physio and they'll be like, no, you're just a bit of stress in the muscles, but nothing major. And that person's going, but there's something wrong. So then that person will come to me anyway, and they mightn't say anything, and I might pick up, a sadness or a loss, and I'd be like, oh, have you lost someone in recent times or something like that? And then the tears will come, and then we'll have a chat about it. And then I'm with Reiki, you can clear out the chakras and you can balance them to a certain extent as well. And the person feels $1 million for the next 6 months, and they do a little bit of work. You give them some guidance, and they might come back to you in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months, 6 years. But yeah, that's how we work through it. But they get maybe an answer or a bit of guidance, or you shine a bit of light on maybe something that's not physical but can certainly be felt. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think it's something that's becoming a lot more prevalent, I suppose, in modern times, is that emotional feelings or your psychological well-being or your emotional well-being can definitely manifest itself physically.
Yeah.
But I think that people desperately want, I don't know if I'm right in saying this, but they almost want something physically to be wrong because that's fixable.
Yes, yeah. It's easier to see a cut and say that's where the pain is. Yes. Whereas when you're feeling pain but there's no physical signs, then it becomes a very mental thing, and it's like, well, it's not tangible, so how do I fix it? What's going on with me? I'm going a bit mad. Yeah, it's really hard for people, and they just, when people know, they're like, okay, that's linked to that, and then they might be able to fix it, but the knowing takes away half the pain. Yes. Half the struggle. But yeah, it would be another 4 or 5 hours of a of a podcast or a workshop. But I remember when I was at my fittest, say, and I didn't really connect with energies or know anything about that, and I was very much focused on the physical. I was probably the most unhappiest in my life then. But now that I'm spiritually or emotionally more knowledgeable, the physical aspects rectifies itself.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So if you work inward, externally will come into alignment. Whereas if you try and work outside in, it's very temporary and it's a massive struggle.
Yeah. I like that analogy of you have to work on the inside before you can work on the outside, or the inside will affect the outside almost.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I like using analogies, but I don't know if you'll agree with this, but it's almost like trying to sell your house and you paint the outside of it, make it look gorgeous, the garden's cut, but you walk inside and there's mold and mildew. The kitchen is up in the heap. There's no pictures on the wall. The fireplace is just covered in dirt, Whereas if the outside of the house needed a lick of paint, but the inside was absolutely gorgeous, then the chances of that house being in good health, and I suppose have a good valuation and selling it eventually would be much higher. No, I really like that. And I suppose that brings me on to what I wanted to ask you next was, if someone is suffering from anxiety or someone has unexplained physical pain that could be rooted in some form of emotional trauma, are there practical things that they can do, either through like practice with somebody like yourself or at home? Like is there guided meditations they can do, or like what advice do you give, or what kind of things do you even do when it happens to you?
Yeah, so anxiety is a very high energy, and it's worrying about the future. And depression is a very low vibration and heavy, and it's worrying about the past. So that's the difference between those two. And it's funny because nobody's really talking about depression lately, because everybody's worried about what the future is going to bring. So everybody's in this high vibration, thinking. So depression isn't really at the forefront at the moment. And it's mad, because if they could just rein it back into the present moment, in this moment, everything is fine.
Yeah.
So that's one way of taking your mind out of the future and bringing it into here. How is everything now? I have a roof over my head. I have food, clothing, warmth, all of those basic kind of survival needs. And then you'd be like, ah. So the next thing is the breath. So when we're mouth breathing or breathing into the chest, even if you're not stressed, you will cause your body to go into stress, and your mind and your brain will think you're stressed. So it will start to produce all these stress hormones to match your energy. So breath, so simple breathing techniques like inhaling for 4 seconds through the nose, exhaling for 4 seconds through the nose or mouth. And if you just did that for 30 seconds, you just instantly feel a little bit more relaxed, and you'd be like, okay, so what's bothering me right now? And it mightn't be anything.
Yeah.
So that's another technique. I find writing down stuff, because it takes it out of your head and puts it on paper.
Yes.
Another thing is closing your eyes and just really asking, what's wrong? Is it a physical pain? And your body might show you the knee. Is it emotional pain? It could be a heart. It could be a relationship or grief or something like that. Is it a head? Are you too much in your head, and do you need to become more grounded and into your body? So self-inquiry. And sometimes all the body and mind wants is attention, because you're looking outside of yourself all the time. So it's always bringing it back to yourself. What are my needs? What do I need? Because we're very much projected outward, into social media, into other people's lives, into other situations, and we forget about ourselves. And the only way the body can bring it back is by showing pain or dis-ease or things like that. So yeah, there's loads of practices.
Is that, like you said, is that the body's way of trying to make you focus more on yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because it's like a bold child. It's like, give me attention. So they'll start like grappling at your knees or punching you or like crying and causing you pain and headaches. Like, what do you need?
Yeah,
Like, here's
yeah.
the bottle, here's your food. And then it all stops. So yeah, sometimes you just need attention. You yourself, whatever's going on inside, just needs to be observed. And we're not very good, again, as a nation, with sitting with ourselves, sitting with our emotions, sitting with what's really going on. Because a lot of stuff will come out under the carpet when we have this time and isolation. And like you mentioned earlier on, people just don't have the resilience, and people just don't have the coping skills. And that's when, sorry about the toilet words, but shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
You know?
It's mad that you say that, because I think that modern times, and I've noticed that I do it myself, and I'm trying more and more, especially now during kind of quarantine or lockdown or the restrictions, whatever we want to call it, is that you'll often find that if I have some quiet time, that I want to occupy my time. It's like you said, it's
Yeah.
about making the lists and having a plan. But if I find myself kind of sitting either in my office or sitting on the couch, or I might be lying on the bed after having a shower and I'm just relaxing, it almost feels unnerving to just sit or to just lie there and just think or breathe or look at the wall.
Yeah, watch
And
paint dry.
yeah, and that's the time where you often find that people will automatically go to their phone or their tablet
Yeah.
for that. And I don't even know if distraction is the right word, but it's almost like, right, this feels really weird, and oh, this is awkward, and you're kind of awkward with yourself. And I think definitely during lockdown, I found that now I always kind of enjoyed my own company anyway. I'd be very comfortable just lying on the couch and just thinking, and I'd often get ideas. And my wife Sarah's always getting at me. I must have 100 notebooks, because I love just doodling, or I'll have an idea for a course or a video, and I'll be writing out scripts and this and that.
Yeah.
And that's how the podcast was almost born out. It was almost born out of boredom. I was like, right, I need to do something, and I'd love to do it interview style, but sure, how can I do that now? Well, it's Zoom, sure, you can record it, and I start writing and writing. But it was almost like, if I don't allow myself to be bored, these things don't come to me. These epiphanies are, like you said, if someone is feeling really emotionally uptight, they could be sitting on a bench in a park totally alone, and the tears start to flow, or they just start to feel either real happy or overwhelmed, and they allow themselves to feel those things.
Yeah, just let it flow. And it's funny that you said that all of that inspiration comes to you when you're, like you said, bored. But when you're not focusing on anything else, all that inspiration comes down. So that would be the crown chakra and the third eye. So everybody has this intuition. But if you're so full of everything and busy in yourself, that intuition is like, there's no space, so I'll go out the other way, and I'll come back around when he's a little bit stiller. And it's all about stillness. It's all about just being. And I'm the same as you. When I'm out walking, that's when I get my inspiration. I'm like, I should have brought my phone to jot it down. I'm like, I'll remember what I'm supposed to remember. I'd be like, that'll come back to me now. Again, that was a great idea. And I'll go home, then I'll jot everything down. And suddenly a course like yourself, a course or a class or a retreat is born out of that nothingness. Because you have to have an empty space for it to be filled.
I like that analogy. I've always been one, people kind of often would say like, am I a glass half full or glass half empty kind of guy? I'm the guy who's like, well, how did the glass start off in the first place? If it was empty and you filled it halfway, it's half full. If it was full and you drank half, then it's half empty. Do you know? But like that, if you don't have space in the glass, you can't put anything else in it anyway, so it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. I love all that stuff. I'm enjoying the chat, I have to say. So tell me, what kind of services do you offer? What do you, I suppose it's hard now, but like you obviously have your yoga practice, your online courses and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, so I suppose if you take, when I started my own business, it was just simply yoga classes and offering one-to-one Reiki treatments and massage. And my God, has that grown over the last 3 years. It has really evolved. And now I don't do any more one-to-ones. It was a personal and professional decision that had to be made. And I'm so glad I made it. But any of the people that were my last clients of one-to-ones, I was saying I really want to work with people on a group at a bigger scale, but still allow them to receive the same service that they receive on a one-to-one. And it's crazy. The courses that I'm running online now, because of this isolation, is exactly that. Because I was only chatting to one of my clients, and I was saying, this is what I was telling you about, but I didn't know how it would all come about. And I said, it's mad how it's just all evolved and now come into this simply by this pandemic. So I'm really grateful for it, because, and I said, all right, I'm just going to start it. I'm not going to wait for this to be over to start it, because there's no time like the present. So yeah, the other services I offer are yoga classes in Spirit, Bendon, Goldstone and Shmore, and I do workshops at the weekends and weekend residential retreats in beautiful secluded locations in Ireland, and hopefully foreign next year. So yeah, but
lovely.
Basically what I do is just create a space for people to either have time for themselves, to heal, or to find out something more about their true self. And it's very broad, but it's very rewarding for me and for the people who join me. Yeah, so
I think the lovely part about the business, and you said at the start that you just want to help people, just to give them, I suppose, that little bit of guidance and help them where they need to be. But I know for me that there's no better buzz than like working with someone that maybe starts off with you, and like you said, the guy that gets pushed in by his wife, or the lady that gets told you have to go by her doctor or something like that. But to see those little moments, or the little chats that you might have before or after class or one-to-one, and the penny starts to drop and they start to speak a different way, they hold themselves differently, their confidence grows, and then you find yourself not really referring to them as clients, they're almost friends.
Absolutely.
And I think it becomes hard for anyone that isn't in the business to realize that, right, yes, they're my clients, but like I'd gladly go and have a pint with them, or have a have a meal with them, and they would often be texting me if Waterford get bet. Like I have clients from places like Limerick and Cork and stuff like that live in Waterford, but the banter with them during the hurling and stuff like that, it's brilliant. Like it really is.
Yeah.
And it's not work when you're doing that kind of stuff, but it's all about building those relationships.
Yeah, absolutely. And you need them as much as they need you, because they show you stuff about yourself that you would never have known unless you worked with them and went through this with them. You're like, oh my God, that's something that I need to look at in myself. And you can relate to them, and because you've gone through it, or you're going to go through it. And yeah, nothing happens by coincidence. Everything happens for a reason, and you always meet the right people at the right time. And yeah, they're your biggest teachers.
I love it. What has been your biggest challenge working as a self-employed person?
Counting. Counting and accounting. Oh my God, I am just, when it comes to that, I start to get a rash around my chest and up in my face, and I'm just like, maths was never my thing. Absolutely. I'm just like, if everything could be just tally up itself and order itself, I don't know what it is. Does it bring me back to school time that I get real anxious because I feel like I'm going to mess up or do it wrong? So yeah, the math side of it is really challenging for me, and technology. Oh my God, technology. Oh, we're in a love-hate relationship at the moment, but I'm very grateful for it, because my business is still running during these times because of it, and we can still keep connected. But like, for me, I think it's keeping things really simple and just working with what you have, rather than trying to be like those people that are very technologically advanced and have the fancy cameras and can do the fancy things. And like you, I suppose, with the podcast and just unedited, that's your way. And if you enjoy doing that, rather than spending hours editing and really hating it, because that energy will go into the podcast then as well. Even if you don't write that, everything is energy. So yeah, I've learned to kind of just be okay with how technically advanced I am, and it just makes things a lot easier. So yeah, technology and maths. But sure, like, there's always someone that you can pay to do those kind of things as well, so you don't have to do it all yourself. And that's one thing I've learned as well, is you don't have to go it alone. Just because you're self-employed does not mean that you have to do it all yourself, because my God, will you be tired and empty, not in a good empty way at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Reach out and ask for help.
Definitely. Have you ever found yourself saying, like, like, I'd love to do more classes, I'm going to do another retreat, I'm going to do 10 workshops, I'm going to do XYZ, and then almost have to check yourself and rein yourself in and go, no, as much as I'd love to earn like €1 million a week and do all of that and not sleep, I physically can't, because as you said, if you're going into a class and you're going to instruct and you want to motivate and inspire, it's very hard if you walk in and you're like this, right lads, I'm gonna start doing a bit of yoga there, and people are looking to you thinking, she looks wrecked.
What's going on here? Burning the candle at both ends. And I suppose that brings me back to why I said I don't do one-to-ones anymore, because if I wanted to do these workshops and retreats, something else had to give. So if you're going to introduce more of something, you have to stop doing something else, because you're only one person and there's only a certain amount of hours during the day, and you also have to have a personal life and your daily practices as well. So yeah, you do have to kind of chop and change and juggle and see what works. But yeah, I suppose if you're being good to yourself and following your own advice, it all works out. It always works out.
I like what you said about kind of, if you want to do one more thing, you have to get rid of something in the background. And it's to be honest, I think that's a strategy that every person should have with their wardrobe, is that if you buy something new, something old has to go out. And I said person instead of every woman there, because I don't want anyone getting mad at me.
Hate mail on its way, honestly.
But I think, like you said, if you're working 39 hours a week, you got 3 kids, and you try to add more and more things onto that, it's very hard to find the balance. And when we spoke about energy, like, what's the saying that I used to have? Where focus goes, energy flows.
Yeah.
So like that, if you are focusing on just work, then it's no surprise that you're going to find that family life might suffer. You get ratty with each other, you're tired, you don't have time for anything else. You know, your mood is shittier. You might lose your libido. You've no appetite. All that kind of stuff happens. So I think that's an important message that I suppose to give to anyone that is listening, is that if you really want to do something, then you have to put a lot of energy into that. And it's like you said, it's like starting a business. You can't kind of half-heartedly start a successful business. You know, the reason people are successful at those things is because they go all in. And the reason people that would do yoga or meditation or mindfulness practice, it's because they go all in. They're not sitting down to focus on their breathing, but 3 breaths in, they're kind of going, hang on a second now, Mary texted me. You know, they're not into it. And if you're not putting energy in, then you're not going to get the benefits back out.
Absolutely. You'll get some benefit, but not the whole package, like. And it's very much like you said, like where your attention goes, energy flows. So if you're focused on work, that's a one track, that's a one path. So it's very hard for happiness and joy and family and friends and personal life to go in there if you're just solely focused on work, and that's it. You have to take all other aspects of your life into it as well. Otherwise, you're merely existing. You know, like and that. you're just working to live. And then if that's your choice, that's what you'll get.
Yeah, I love that. Katie, if anyone listening to or watching this would like to learn more about what you do or work with you, where can they find you?
Very easy, www.katieduggan.com. So that's my website. It's all about me there, obviously because it's my website.
The one-stop shop for me.
For me. It says exactly what it is on the tin, katieduggan.com. So my Facebook, my Instagram, my YouTube, all of those things are there. And there's a lot of free stuff there as well. So if you don't want to connect with me and you just want to dabble and see, you know, if there's anything there, and try before you buy is what I always say. But so, and if you feel like asking a question or sign up to my newsletter, you can do that all there as well. So
absolutely brilliant. Can I also throw out there, because I thought you might mention it, but I listened to an episode of the RUL podcast actually earlier today.
Oh yes.
Yeah, totally. I stumbled upon it totally at random.
No way.
I was looking up your own page to actually get your mobile. I was going to text you about this evening, and it bothered me because I found this podcast and I started listening to yourself and Grace, and I started listening to it. And it was really, really good. So if anyone is listening or watching this and enjoyed what Katie was saying about we were chatting about, I suppose that's another outlet that you have that people can listen to kind of what you're about, and it's good crack as well. You seem to have good banter between the two of you.
It's very laid back. Some good nuggets of information, but it's the two of us chatting about real life stuff, day-to-day stuff, and we invite in guests every now and again. So it's good fun. There's so much going on, and I suppose everything was brought forward because of this isolation, and because we're like, why not do it now? Why not bring forward that thing that we had planned? Like that was for May, June time that we were supposed to do it. So we said, look, why not? And I like this doing it over Zoom, and so it's been great fun, great learning. So lots of different things. I'm sure you have to try these things to see if they work and if they're appropriate for whatever it is that you're into. So
deadly stuff. Okay, if anyone is listening, watching, thank you for watching and or listening to the Mark Caulfield Coaching Podcast, whenever you are listening to it and wherever you're listening to it. Katie, thank you very much for coming on and having the chat with me. I really enjoyed it.
Me too.
I think that's about almost 45-50 minutes. It flew.
Way, is it?
I think so. My dinner is calling me. I will. So thank you for coming on. Thanks to everyone for listening. And I hope that I will see everyone back here on the Mark Caulfield Coaching Podcast.